Hello, everyone. We are now live. We are live for our HoneyBook for Beginner session. So, in this particular session, I am going to go over with you how you can go through and leverage HoneyBook to actually streamline your business. Now, this particular edition that I'm doing at this present time is going to be the examples that I'm going to use are going to be for website designers. However, anyone mostly can use HoneyBook. It's for various industries from virtual assistants, OBMs. You could be a caterer, makeup artist. So many different industries that you could use, photographers that can actually go through and use HoneyBook. So let's go ahead and dive right on into this. And I'm just going to make sure that, okay, awesome. Just want to make sure that everyone can hear me. If you start tuning in at a later time, definitely feel free to drop inside of the chat that where you're tuning in from and what type of business that you have. That way I will be able to maybe put some examples here with your business as well. So again, if you can hear me just fine, just let me know and feel free to just introduce yourself inside of the chat. But I want to go ahead and get started with this so I don't take that much of your time. I do have a couple of slides here for you. So again, in this particular session, we're going to talk about how you can go through and leverage HoneyBook to streamline your business. Now, this example I'm going to use again that I just mentioned is going to be for website designers, but however, anyone with various industries can use HoneyBook. Okay. So if you have any questions, but you're not a website designer, no worries. Still drop your questions inside the chat. So just let me know where you're tuning in from, as well as your name will pop up in a lot of places. So all right, so let's go ahead and jump right into this. So today I'm going to go ahead and give you an introduction to HoneyBook to let you know exactly what HoneyBook is, what it's used for, and all of that goodness, as well as the key features of HoneyBook, the benefits for website designers and almost any other industries. It pretty much applies to mostly everyone. I'm going to take you behind the scenes inside of my HoneyBook demo account so you can see exactly what HoneyBook looks like to basically a certain degree. My demo account has most of what everyone else will see, and my regular normal account actually has a couple other features. So you'll be able to see what you probably see inside of your HoneyBook account. We're going to talk about the pricing for HoneyBook, and then I'm going to go through and answer any of the questions that you do have. Now, also, too, at the end of this, I am going to tell you about the services that we do offer to be able to assist you if you need assistance with HoneyBook, setting it up, if you need someone to take a look at what it is that you have inside of your account. I'm going to go over those services with you at the very end after I go through and show you all this stuff and then answer your questions. So just a little bit about me, and I'm not going to read all of this because this is a little bit much for me to be able to go through and read, but just in case that you're new here, my name is kenniquaj. I'm a Squarespace website designer, and I'm a HoneyBook consultant and also a content creator. And I'm the owner of K&D Jones Client Services, LLC. So we help our clients and our customers to be able to go through and have a beautiful website that is strategic, but as well as streamline their processes through their systems, which is normally HoneyBook and other systems that we deal with. Okay. So, and again, if you have any questions along the way, if you want to introduce yourself, be sure to just drop that in the chat. I have my chat on the other screen, so that's why I'm moving over and looking at the other screen, but feel free to introduce yourself if you would like. If you have any questions, let me know as well too. So what exactly is HoneyBook? Because at this point, if you have some type of business, you may have heard at this time, you may have heard people say things about HoneyBook. Like literally they just dropped a new feature today, which I will talk about briefly as well too. But what exactly is HoneyBook? HoneyBook is the leading client flow platform for independent professionals. So it provides the tools to help you manage inquiries, legal contracts. You can do scheduling, payments, and everything that it takes for you to be able to go through and serve your clients. And it has been the number one thing that I use in my business that really helps me to be able to streamline and automate all of the processes that we do. So before using HoneyBook, I was really going through and I was piecing a lot of different things together. Like I was piecing multiple systems together. Like I had one system for invoicing, I think back then. I was using like Square, and of course I had Stripe, I had PayPal, I had all the process and systems. I also had another system for scheduling, so that's where I was using Acuity Scheduler, and then I had another system to create brochures and welcome letters. So I was like using Canva, which I still use Canva, of course, but I don't use Canva for those particular things. And then I had another system for a portal. I was manually sending out emails, and I was doing so many other things that were just a total waste of time and money. But when I started using HoneyBook, I was able to go through and put all of this together and have all of this into one system. So I was able to go from all of that chaos and time that I was spending on that, and I was able to go through and consolidate everything inside of HoneyBook and totally streamline my client flow. So now when someone goes to my website and they go through an inquiry, let's say about a website project or about a system setup, that now I can onboard these clients basically on their own. I can have them book that, schedule a discovery call with me. I can have them choose the service that they want from me, and they can do invoice and they can do all of that without me even being there or guiding them through this process, right? And it helps me in that, leading into that next point, is that it helps me to be able to book clients faster, because the clients, they're not waiting for me to be able to go through and send them something, right? They're not waiting for me to, oh, let me send this proposal to you, or let me wait a couple of days to send this booking link. No, the system is set up for it to automatically send that to them. Davita said, awesome, a graphic designer. Hey, Davita. Yeah, so it allows me to be able to do all of this inside of HoneyBook. It also allowed for me to feel more professional and confident about how I was able to go through and present my business to potential clients. Because when clients come and they're like, oh, wow, this is branded to your website, like this experience that you have inside of HoneyBook, I can have it branded to match the vibe and match what I got going on my website as well. And then it also helped me to be able to save a lot of time and minimize the effort, because I was able to go through and use automation, which HoneyBook in the last like 6 months or so has increased the amount of things that you can automate inside of there, as well as it helped me because I'm able to use templates. So now I have brochure templates, I have email templates. HoneyBook recently just released just released smart sections that now, even when you go through and you build out your email templates, that now you can put these smart sections inside of your templates where it can say your client's name, or it can have the spot for project date. So when that email automatically goes out, it can address the client by name, it can put in their project date, it can do all of those different things. And again, you haven't had to be able to manually send out this. Davida says, I'm using Dipsata, but I might give HoneyBook a try. Yeah, it's always worth a try, right? So some of the key features that I personally really like about HoneyBook, and of course it does more, that I'm going to go through and kind of show you behind the scenes of today, just to kind of give you an idea of what it is that it can do and what it could do for you. Some of the key features, and one of my favorites, is workflow automation. So being able to go through and automate a lot of different things in your business, from being able to book clients, to be able to go through and send brochures, to send out contracts, to do payments, to now even HoneyBook gives the feature that if someone's paying you late, it can automatically add on that late fee for you, right? It can go ahead and do all of that. So the possibilities are endless at this point. When someone schedules a meeting, it could say, have an email to say like, thank you for booking this meeting. And when the meeting starts, you can have another email or something go out to say, hey, the meeting is about to start. The possibilities are endless when it comes to the automation here. The project tracking. So project tracking, it allows for you to be able to track your projects. Now, tracking your projects is basically putting it into like a client flow, which I'll show you guys here in a second, of like how you can track the project. But most of you probably now, especially if you're already running your business, you have your projects, maybe that first stage of inquiry, then they do book a meeting, then maybe they send or sign a contract or proposal, then contract, then paid, and they go through that process. You can go through and you can seamlessly see inside of HoneyBook that project and the stages of each one of the projects. And they actually just released here, I want to say within the last week or two. It's not going to be in my demo account. I haven't seen it in my demo account, but I do know they did give me access to it in my other account, the account that I actually use for my business. It's a feature called tags, and tags allow for you to be able to even increase your being able to go through and organize your business anymore, even more, because now you can tag the clients and the prospects that are coming through HoneyBook, and you can tag them and organize your projects as well as your contacts. So even with myself, because I do offer multiple services, now I can tag different people with those different services. So I can add a tag for website design, so I can easily find the particular client that was interested in website design. I can tag HoneyBook, I can tag VIP. Even if someone like ghosted you, you can tag someone ghosted, so you know when that name pops up again, you know this person previously had ghosted you, and you can customize the tags as well. So that is just one thing that you can do, even with the project tracking. Not to mention, you can automate when people go through and they move stages, but we'll look at that in a second. Another key feature is invoicing and payments. So you can do invoicing and invoice your clients automatically, or send out these invoices seamlessly and have your client pay you right all into HoneyBook and all into this one system. And so you're not having to go through and piece together all of the different multiple things, right? Kayla says she joins with you link about a month ago, and I use it, but I don't think I'm taking advantage of everything. So I definitely needed this. Yeah, awesome. That's why I want to do this, because I do find that a lot of people, they do sign up for HoneyBook and they may not be using, or most people aren't using all the features that HoneyBook has to offer. But once we kind of go over the features that they offer, then number one, if you're not using it, you may want to use it. But then if you are using it, you might be like, let me start really diving into it, especially for what you're paying for it, right? And I think it's fairly affordable, but why not use it even more, right? And so proposals and contract management, you can seamlessly send proposals. You can send your contracts through there. They can automatically sign those contracts right into the system. You can see when they signed them. You can easily print them out if you needed to after they've signed them and you sign them. You could do all of that inside of there. You have client management. So this is where your client even has access to a portal where they can log into their portal and they will be able to go through and they can upload a document to you. They can pay their invoice. They can see other forms that you have sent out to them. They can fill them out. They can go back and review old forms. They can communicate. So every single email that you have sent out to them, they can go back and easily view it. A lot of times what I try to do is, like, when I'm onboarding a client, or even for our monthly clients, I ask them to, hey, send us a message, log into your HoneyBook and send us a message, versus it coming to our inbox and we get flooded with a whole bunch of emails. Versus if you send it to us inside of HoneyBook, we're going to get those notifications, but it just keeps everything nice and organized that way. And not to mention all of the integrations that HoneyBook also has, where it can integrate with your Google Calendar, so you never overbook yourself. It also connects. They've added some other integrations, like if you use like a project management tool, like let's say Monday, Asana, you can also integrate it with Zoom. So when someone books a meeting with you, right from there, they automatically get that Zoom link and so much more. So we're going to look at a couple of those features here in a second as well. So a couple of benefits, and I have here for website designers, but keep in mind really that this is also going to be for almost any type of business. These are going to be pretty much the same, right? So if you have any questions, you're like, oh, this is only for website designers. It's not only for website designers, but this is just some of the examples that I may be using for today. But again, it's not for just website designers. But some of the key benefits is, number one, it's going to be time saving. It's going to save you a lot of time because you're able to go through and streamline all of those administrative tasks that you don't like to do, because you really like to go through and just design websites. Or like Davida says, she is a graphic designer. You really like to do that. Or maybe you're a virtual assistant. You want to do that. The admin stuff sometimes is not most of the time our favorite thing to do. So that is going to help you to be able to do that. So you can focus more on your creative work versus trying to do all of the admin stuff because I don't like doing that neither. So it's also going to help you to be more professional. It's going to enhance the professionalism of your designer client relationship or your client relationship through branded proposals, contracts, and communication. You can brand everything to really look like you, right? It's coming from you, it's branded to you. You can change your pictures, your brand color, your font, and you can make it feel exactly like you. Now, I'm going to go through a couple more of these, but even at this point, if you say that, okay, I got to try to go ahead and give HoneyBook a try, inside of the description box, wherever you're watching this video, I do have a 50% off link that you can join. And that will give you 50% off your first year of HoneyBook. As well, I gave HoneyBook one of my templates. It's a 3-page template brochure that you can go through and you can send to your clients, basically for people who submit an inquiry to you. And then they automatically will get this particular brochure. And I gave this to HoneyBook, and they're going to give it to you automatically in your account when you go through and you sign up. But if you've already signed up for HoneyBook and you can't do that, if you go to my website, you can still get that free brochure. Okay. So just to let you guys know. And I'll put the website link in the chat because I didn't do that. So another benefit for you will be, and I know this is what for me it was the financial management. So it also allows for you to be able to go through and simplify your financial management with features like, again, invoicing, payment tracking, and expense tracking. They also have at this point, and again, I've done this session a couple of times before, and I've said this before, and even at this time, I do not think, because it's not in my demo account, so I do not think it's in other people's account as well, but I do have beta access to it, is that even HoneyBook has a checking account where you get a debit card and your funds can go straight to that account too. And you can also create like these little buckets where, let's say you have a tax bucket and maybe you have some other type of expense bucket that you make up. Like, for example, I have like an Amazon bucket. I do have to have a bucket for Amazon because I go to Amazon a lot. So I have an Amazon bucket. So you can put your money and it will automatically, when someone pays you, it will disperse the money into those particular buckets. So that's pretty cool too. Not sure when they're going to be releasing that out to everyone, but it's definitely a very cool feature. But that just tells you or shows you even more possibilities that you do have with HoneyBook, even when it comes to like the financial management portion of it. Again, even the improved communication. So having a centralized hub for you where you and your clients will be able to go through and communicate. This keeps away all of that misunderstanding and it improves the collaboration because those messages aren't getting lost. If there is an email that hasn't been answered, then HoneyBook will notify you after a certain time that, hey, it hasn't been opened, or it hasn't been read. Or if you send a file out to your client that file, it hasn't been opened or it hasn't been read. These are things that will help you to be able to go through and communicate and be able to basically streamline that process with your clients. Eric says that he already has Bluehost and I'm starting a virtual call center business. I want to switch to HoneyBook to do my virtual call center business. HoneyBook is going to be really, really good for those that have individual clients that they are going to work with. Okay. So HoneyBook may or may not be the best fit for you with using that. You can use it for that. But just keep in mind that it's really if you're doing one-on-one clients and working them through your system that way. Scalability. So scalability, HoneyBook does scale with you as well too. HoneyBook has rolled out a lot of cool new team features. So it allows you to be able to go through and grow because you can bring in all of those clients that you have and those projects, but also you can bring in your team members. So now you can also tag your team members into projects, and you can even assign, after a project has come in, you can even assign a project to a particular team member and then remove yourself off of the project. So if you're working with teams or you have a team, a small team, large team, whatever, you can also scale and be able to go through and use HoneyBook with your team as well. So we're going to go ahead and dive into HoneyBook, and I'm going to log into, I'm going to stop sharing for just 1 second so I can get into the demo account. Is this the one? And again, if you have any questions, let me know inside of the chat if you should have any questions. And let's share. What window are we sharing? This one here. Okay. All right. So we're inside of my HoneyBook. This is my demo account that I use for demo purposes, obviously. So HoneyBook recently, within the last few months, they actually went through and changed this home screen. They changed this home screen to just add in a lot of different things that you can be able to see just from a glimpse or right from the home screen. Before this wasn't like this. So you can automatically from this home screen, you can see any leads that you may have, messages, and actually click on them. You'll be able to see your revenue that's come through here. You can create lead forms, which we'll talk about that in a second, but you can see your leads here. Anything that you have on your calendar, so like any bookings that you have through HoneyBook, you'll be able to see here, as well as if you have synced your calendar with HoneyBook, you'll be able to see that here as well. You can start things from here. So for example, you can start new clients, new projects, invoicing, contracts. You can do all of that from here. Of course, these are some test projects. So you can create a project from this window. Any unread messages will actually appear here. So this home screen is very, very beneficial to you when you're going through and you're actually operating through your HoneyBook account. Okay. Now, one of the first things that I always recommend to someone when they're going through and they're getting started with HoneyBook is just to be sure that you have fully set up your company settings in your account. So if you're new to using HoneyBook, you want to go to your little profile and you want to click on your company settings. Now, inside of your company settings, this is where you'll be able to put like your company name, what it is that you do, your website, all of that goodness. And you can put your logo. You can even customize your branding color. You can customize your fonts and everything right here. This is something that you want to go through and do because, again, this allows for you to be able to really create a branded experience. The next thing is going to be your preferences. And I'm not going to touch on every single tab or every single button inside of here, but I do want to go over just a couple things that I want you to keep in mind. So you have your lead sources. So your lead sources is so when people are coming to you, you know exactly where these leads are coming from. So you can edit these. They do have some that are already preset. However, there are some that, of course, that you can fill in or you can delete, like the ones I have here. You can add a source and you can be able to type it in and just simply go through and add it. You have project details. So are there things in here that where you can collect about projects there where they will last on the project. You can go through and customize those there. Project types. Now, I'm going to tell you about project types, and this makeup one is what we did for another demo that we did. So, like your project types, and this is going to go, this section I feel like is important when you really want to see and know exactly what HoneyBook can really do for you. So if you are a business and you offer more than one service, so in this particular one, like what we have here, like business consulting, you have makeup 2 systems, and you have website design, right? If you have multiple service offerings, I recommend that you put in the different project types. This is going to be helpful for you when you have, like on your contact form, which I'll show you in a second in case you're not familiar. But when you have your contact form is basically a form that people will go to your website and they will enter, like, hey, you are a website designer or a virtual assistant or something like that, right? They will go to your website and they will fill out the form. If you offer different service offerings, and when I say different service offerings, I mean really different categories. So I don't recommend that you list any and everything that you do here, especially like if you're a virtual assistant, you probably offer a ton of different things, right? But if you have different categories, put those different categories here, because what you can do is you can customize their experience and the emails that they get based off of the categories. So what I mean by this, if I have someone that's interested in website design, I can send them a tailored email about thank you for requesting or inquiring about our website design services. Here's our brochure of our services for website design, versus them filling out the contact form and me saying, and knowing that they want website design, but me sending out an email to say, thank you for inquiring about our services. Here's all the services that we offer. We are website design. We do graphic design. We do HoneyBook setups. Now I've overwhelmed them with all of the services that we provided when they specifically told me that they wanted to do website design. They wanted website services. So why don't I just tell them what my website services are? So that's where that section is going to help you. And I'm going to show you where you're going to be able to link that up together and where that's going to make sense here in a minute. Okay. So project types. Now your notification settings, you can go through and customize your notification settings, how you want to be, how your company wants to be notified about certain things. Like, so for example, notify me by email within 3 days if a client doesn't view an email that has a file contained. You can turn that on. You can even customize when you want to be notified of this. Okay. And there's other things that you can be notified of. Even actions. So you can customize your actions. Is there a particular questionnaire that you want to have your send out to your clients 3 weeks before a project? You can go through, if you want that turned on, you can go through and say, hey, what questionnaire do you want to be sent out to them? What email do you want to go to that? And when do you want it to be sent? That is very helpful when, let's say, I'm going to use the website design project again. Let's say for a website design project, a week before the client is due to, we're going through and kicking off the project, that I need them to fill out a particular form. This could be helpful that, hey, make sure you send this particular form for this email at this particular date, right? So you can customize that as well. HoneyBook also just now released their SMS messages. They did that probably within the last month or so. So now when someone goes through and they book like a schedule or a meeting or something with you, now not only will they get now they won't only just get the email notification, but they also get that SMS notification, because this is going to help them to not ghost you on your meeting, right? Now, it doesn't mean they won't ghost you, but it just helps them to not ghost you. So you can do that. You can also do payment reminders. So if you want to remind your customers, your clients, when they have payments coming out, then you can go through and you can customize, hey, let them know when they got something up and coming, because they might not have put that on their calendar. So do something that's up and coming. And then you can send out, let's say 7 days before, and now you can edit that email that you want them to be able to go through and see. Mr. Eric, could I have an account from you, please? Okay, not sure what that is. Okay, all right. Then also you have domain and your client portal. So this is where you can go through and you can customize basically your portal that your clients will have access to. Now I'm gonna tell you, it's nothing fancy. Okay, it's not gonna be anything fancy. It really just has where you can, like, if I were to click on it, customize the screen, you can change the background colors, logo, no logo, basically your company name, and it has it where they put their email, name, and password. This email a link section is something they just came out with within the last about month and a half or so, which is very very beneficial for clients. Now it makes it easier for them to be able to log into their account. Integration. So make sure you set up your integrations. If you are using something like Gmail, everything like that, be sure that you go through and you connect this. Now, if you have a HoneyBook account now or in the future, be sure that you go through and you connect it. The reason why you want to go through and connect it, because you guys know, like when Google and Yahoo had that whole thing that they actually went through and they changed it for like the settings, I forgot what it's called, like the DKIM settings or whatever it is, where if you're sending out emails that are like using your domain, you have to verify that. You want to make sure that you have verified this domain by connecting your account, because otherwise what's going to happen is it's going to be like a HoneyBook email that they're going to get that email from you, whatever, anytime you send out an email. And then also what's going to happen is you're probably going to land in spam. So connect it. Okay. You have other things that you can connect in integration. So you can definitely go through that. You can do Zoom. You could do QuickBooks, Calendly. They have also added in these here just recently within the last like 6 months or so. And you can also, of course, do Zapier, which is basically that middleman that connects several different things together. So what I do is, because I use Trello for my productivity system, I use Trello. I connect my HoneyBook to Trello. So when someone goes through and they book a website project and it's booked, then Trello, this Zapier connection that I have, is that it will automatically copy a board that I have in Trello, which is my website design template board. It will copy it. That way I can use that board, the copied board, for the client. Hopefully that makes sense, but that just lets you know there's a lot of things that you can do. You can also add in your team membership and of course your bank details. So you can do all of that. And depending on the plan that you have, If you're on that middle plan will allow for you to be able to have up to 2 team members. Other than that, if you want more team members, then you have to go to that highest plan if you want to have that, right? And I recommend that, and we're going to go over the plans in a second just to kind of see, but I recommend that if you're going to use HoneyBook, you're going to get the most benefit from it if you're using that middle plan, because that middle plan is going to have something special for you that you are going to need if you really want to streamline your business, which is going to be automation. Okay. You're going to want to have automation because that's really what's going to help you streamline your business. And you don't get that on the basic plan. Okay. All right. So if you have any questions so far, let me know. I'm just kind of giving you guys a little walkthrough of what this actually looks like inside of a HoneyBook account, which is my demo account. So the first thing I'm going to click on here, I'm actually just going to click on contact forms, because contact forms is basically one of the first ways that someone is going to, do I have an example? Contact forms is going to be one of the first ways that someone is going to get inside of your HoneyBook account through a lead. This is something that you would be able to go through. You can definitely customize it. You can create multiple contact forms. Depending on your business, you may need multiple contact forms, but you can embed it inside of on your website, or you can also go through and create a link for it. So let's say, for example, if you don't have a website yet, but you still want to use HoneyBook, you can just copy the link from the lower left, and maybe you might put it in your Instagram bio or your Facebook or something like that. You could definitely do that. Now, this is where you're going to get the details of what you want from your client. So whether, of course you need their name and their email address, but there may be some other things that you may want. So maybe you might need when do they plan on starting this project? You might want to really know this, because if they're starting an inquiry with you, but let's say, for example, they're like, oh, I'm not going to be ready for like a year. Do I really need to meet with you right now? And you ain't ready for a year? No, I do not. So you can go through and you can get that type of details. Now, when you go through to this particular question right here, so for example, when I told you guys that if you have multiple different service offerings, so let's say you're a website designer, but you also offer graphic design, or maybe you also offer SEO, those services are distinctly different. Those are different categories. Here, you may put a similar question to this. What type of project are you looking for? And under the settings icon, that kind of looks like a little gear icon, you can click it. This allows for you to be able to change the question type. Now, this may not come on your form. I think they are on most of the HoneyBook forms, but you can always go through and change it. But the project type, it allows you to be able to go through and change to different fields. So you have long form, drop down, single. But when you choose project type, this project type button, I want to say this kind of slower. This project type button is connected to those company settings that I showed you that says project type. This button is pulling from there. So what you have from there, you notice when I clicked on it, it's pulling from there. What you have from there is where those project types are coming from. Okay. So if you want your project types to show correctly and someone to be able to know what project types you offer, you want to make sure they're updated in your company settings. And you want to make sure that your question, whatever you put, is connected to the project type. Now, you can make this required or not. It just depends on what you want to do. But I do think you should use this, especially if you offer multiple different project types. Now, what you can do with this, let's say, for example, I'm interested in your virtual assistant business, and I'm interested in maybe you offer business consulting. Instead of having just this form, so you can have this form on your website, and I say, oh, I'm interested in business consulting. Instead of setting up an automation to have anybody who fills out this form, they're going to get this particular automation, I can create an automation specifically for people who want business consulting. I can set up another automation geared towards people who want website design, towards people who have selected whatever other item, right? And then I can have a main automation. I'm going to show you here in a second, but I just want to show you where this button, where this actually could play a vital part to really help you streamline it even more. You can customize your forms. You can do all of that with this as well. Kayla said, without copying and pasting the link, I can add it on my Squarespace. So yes, you can actually do it both ways. So you can embed it. So if you were to hit publish at the top, you can copy this code. So when you hit this, it hits and you hit copy. Then on Squarespace, because I deal with Squarespace as well, when you do Squarespace, if you want to embed it, when you bring up Squarespace and you open up your section and little drop downs that give you those options, you're going to type in embed. And you type in embed, and it's going to bring in that embed block. And then you can put this code in there and it will embed it. If you want to link it, so if you want to link it, you want to use this one at the bottom left. And that one will allow for you to be able to link it. So maybe you want it linked to a button instead of actually embedding it. So like on my website, I actually decided to go the route of linking it just because I didn't like the way, for my website and the design of the website, I did not like it. I didn't like it embedded. I didn't want it embedded. So I linked it. Hopefully that makes sense. But you can embed it or you can link it. All right, so the next thing we're going to talk about is we're going to talk about lead forms. And then let me tell you really like the difference. So the contact form is going to be basically how people can get inside of your HoneyBook account and how they can go through and submit an inquiry for you. Now, lead forms are really going to be for people that want to book with you now and they don't want to necessarily put in, do the whole inquiry thing. They want to be able to take action right now. So a couple of things that you can do with a lead form is, and these forms these are great templates to be able to use, and you can customize them or you can make one from scratch if you want to. But HoneyBook has a lot of great starting points and templates already inside. So I encourage you to use what's already there and just enhance what's already there. You're welcome, Kayla. Just enhance what's already there. So you have like a one-time consultation, you have an introductory call, inquiry call, speaker engagement, partnerships, even VIP days, even digital products. You can sell a digital product inside of HoneyBook. You can sell a digital product inside of HoneyBook. If you don't have a LMS system anywhere else or any type of digital product software anywhere else, if you're already using HoneyBook, you can sell your digital product inside of HoneyBook as well. Now, there's a new feature that they came out with in the last 6 months. So it's not as streamlined as I like for that, but it's definitely a good workaround. And you have to take the link for the product. So like you would have to put your digital product inside of like a Google Drive or something like that and link to it. And then it pulls it up that way. So it's kind of a different thing, but it's definitely something that if you want to do that. But I'm going to go inside one-time consultation real quick. And I just want to show you guys what this looks like and the case uses for this. So let's say you offer paid consultations. As paid consultations, instead of using a contact form where now you have to go through and either email them or set up an automation for them and then create an invoice and all of that goodness, or maybe even use a different software. You don't have to do all of that. You can create a lead form and you can put in your scheduler. So HoneyBook does have schedulers, which we'll take a look here in a second, but you have the scheduler. You can create the scheduler from here, a couple details that you might need about what their project is. Boom, the invoice is going to be in here and it'll put in the amount based off of the amount that you put. Then you have it where they can pay. And then boom, they put in their credit card and boom, then they pay it and they're automatically in your HoneyBook account, just like that, right? So that's what you can use a lead form for. Now you can also create automations from a contact form and from a lead form, right? So there's different ways that you can actually go through and create those automations. And then you can also manually add someone to an automation as well. So I'm gonna look at email. I'm gonna look at templates first and we'll save automation for the last because that's the favorite part. So templates. So inside of HoneyBook, you have a section for templates, right? And so this is the HoneyBook template I was actually telling you guys about that I do give away for free with that link. Matter of fact, I'm going to put in case you already do have a HoneyBook account, I am going to give you the other link so you can still get that template in case you want it. And so I'll just actually go, and it's on our website. It's on our freebies page on our website that we give this to you. And when you download it, and they actually just started just today, they just released the feature where now it was a whole thing about we used to have to actually individually put everyone's email addresses in for the HoneyBook. So if you download this one, let's use my HoneyBook link to sign up for HoneyBook. If you request this from my website, it's going to have you send me your email address and I have to do it, send it over to you. But they actually just changed that feature where now people can just get the link and they could just download it. So boom. Davita says, does it have a client portal? It does have a client portal. It's inside of your I can show you what a client portal will look like just from inside of mine, and it will look similar to how you see it, similar to it. I'll show you here in a second. So you have your file. So basically, smart files. So smart files, and you have your legacy templates. But if you've been using HoneyBook for a while, I highly encourage you to start using smart templates because smart templates allow for you to be able to smart files. Excuse me, allows you to be able to go through and combine multiple files together. So instead of sending a client, let me send you a contract. Oh, you signed the contract. Now let me send you an invoice. Now let me send you the payment. No, you can put all of these together where the client can sign the contract, they can review the proposal, the invoice, and pay, whoop, right in one swoop. They can do everything together, right? So there's no need to be able to send out all of these individual things to the client because now it makes it so much easier and more streamlined, and you can know what pages and everything that they looked at. Okay. So inside of your templates, this is where you can go through and you can create your templates. Now, HoneyBook does have a template gallery. So if you don't want to build anything from scratch, use the template library because the template library has a lot of different templates inside of it. So at the top right, you have your template library and it's broken up into categories based off of the type of what you want to do. So let's say you're like, boom, I need to have something that has a contract inside of it. So maybe you might select that. Maybe I also need invoice with it. And you can see in each template what pages are actually inside of that particular template. Or maybe you want to break it down by industry. Now granted, they're customizable, so pretty much no matter what industry that you choose, you can customize them to be for any industry. But if you do want to go through and change the industry for it, you can go through and you can select it. Let's say maybe you're catering, and like I said before, you guys see all these industries? Like when I said, okay, yeah, this might be some examples I'm using for website design, but look at all the industries: bakery, blogging, calligraphy, catering, doula, education, event planning. All of these industries are industries that could benefit from actually going through what do they have up here? Rentals, photo booths could benefit from actually going through and using HoneyBook, right? So that's where you go through and you find your template. So you can, matter of fact, let me go back to it real quick. So let's say I just click on this one. Okay, so you can go through and you can customize everything about it. So let's say you look at this one and you're like, okay, this looks pretty nice. I'm gonna go through and customize this. All you have to do is just edit this, click on edit this template, and it is going to bring it up for you. And there you'll be able to go through and customize. You can change out your logo, you can customize your theme by going through and changing out, putting in your fonts, putting in your background colors, your text colors, your button colors, and you can totally go through and customize it. Now, you probably noticed with this one has 6 pages. Those 6 pages land right here on this side. You can also add in a page. So let's say, for example, you have a template already, maybe some on something else, but you're creating another document. You can add a page, and you can pull in one of these other templates that you already have if you want to do that, or you can just start one from scratch. You can also go through and configure the settings. So you can go through and you can name your file, which I do recommend you name your file. You can change out the thumbnail that they will actually see when this lands inside of their inbox. You can also go through and add an authentication to your file. So basically, if you toggle this on, this is where your clients will actually, when they get this file, they would have to go through and get like an access code that comes to their email. And that's what allows for them to be able to access this. Now, on most of my files, I don't put that on there for them to do all of that because it's not that serious for some of the files that we send out. But if you have a file that might contain a contract and you want to verify that it is just that person that you sent that to go through and sign that, then you might turn it on. It's totally up to you. You can go through and even go through and set a redirect URL. So what's going to happen is once they go through and they fill out this form, they're typically going to go to their portal. But let's say you want them to go somewhere else, maybe on your website, or maybe there's a special place or Facebook or whatever it is that you want to go through. You can actually set that last page to be redirected to someone else, somewhere else. You can also expire that particular form. So sometimes what I'll do is if I send out a proposal This proposal ain't good forever, you know? So like I will expire that. So let's say I go through and I expire it and I might say expire within 2 weeks. And you can even have it where it'll display the expiration date. So at the bottom of that form, that expiration shows them that, hey, this is going to expire on X amount of days. You can even edit the message that they will see about what it's going to do when it's going to expire. And then what happens is when it expires, then they have to go through and contact you to reactivate it, right? But this can be helpful because let's say you gave them a quote, but next month your price has changed, right? But it's been like a month and they didn't lock in a month. No, it expired after a month, right? So you can decide to do that as well too. You can also have it too, depending on the form that you have. You can also go through and generate like a standalone draft if it has something that has like some selections that they can go through and do, right? So the possibilities is endless here. You can combine whatever pages that you want. So the templates are very helpful for this in this fact, but you can go through and combine different ones. So let me just show you the one that I created that I do give away for free, just to kind of show you that. But even inside of your template section, this is where you will have your emails. So inside of your emails as well too, this is where you can customize and create basically any type of email that you know that you send out on a regular basis. So if you always send out an email to say, thank you for inquiring about my services, that email, it should be in here. Number one, because it's going to allow for you to be able to connect it to your automation. But number two, it's going to save you time, even if it's something that you just want to have a template for that you don't have to automatically just send it out on the fly. You have to go through and type it every single time. And now they've actually gone through and they created where you have these smart files. So now you have smart fields that you can go through and add. So like if I were to click on insert smart field, I can create a template that is customizable to the person or the project that they're doing. So if I click a smart file, now I can do, okay, project name, boom, thanks for reaching out. I can't spell. Thanks for reaching out. I didn't want to put in caps, but thanks for reaching out. So now I can do that. Or now if you want to do, maybe the project name might be different. So maybe you might want to do client name. So maybe the client's first name. And then maybe you might want to put in here, maybe when the project is actually going to go through and go through. So the project start time, project date. So maybe the project date is something that I use, like, hey, we're ready to kick off your project at project date, right? I'm not writing this. I wrote it as a template, but it's customizing it as well. So definitely play around with those because that is going to help you go through and do that. And make sure, because like I said, this is my demo account, so I have random ones in here, but make sure, especially if you're offering different services, that number one, you always name your emails, but then also two, it is going to be gold for you when you're setting up your automation to be sure that you set them up in a way that is going to be easy for you to find them. So like, for example, maybe if you do like website design, right? So I may say, I like to use icons too. Makes it easier. So maybe this is for website design. I might put that icon because I know it's website design. And then I might say 01 and then, booking. And then I may say inquiry email, right? So I might do that. And then what I'll do for my next template is because in order for me to do an automation, the emails need to be in there. So I might say 0, I might have the icon again, 02, and this is part of the booking sequence that I have. And then I might say, send brochure email or something like that, right? This is going to make it easier for me that when I set up my automation for me to find those emails. And then I might do, like for my other accounts, I like to use, because we do HoneyBook services, I like to use little b, and then I'll do 01, and then I'll do booking, and I might say send, inquiry email or something like that. You guys get the point, right? So now I know that this little bumblebee is for the automation for my HoneyBook services, and the one with the laptop is for my website design services. And I'm building it out that way. And the booking portion of it is letting me know that, hey, this is part of my booking automation sequence. And then I also have a onboarding sequence. So I name them that way, right? All right, packages. Packages is where you can actually go through. And if you have certain packages, so let's say you are a website designer and you have a package where you have a custom website service, you might say custom website service, and maybe it's the same for all of them. So maybe it is $3,000 for that. And then you would go through and put the description here of that particular service. And you might not need this, but boom, every time on your invoices, you can create an invoice and that will automatically show up in that invoice. Or if you have to go through and create like a separate proposal for someone, you can easily pull from these items. And we can look at that here in a second too. I know we're running out of time. Contact forms is where all your contact forms are. And then you have your email signature. Like this is where you can add your picture, your name, and everything like that. And that is something where on each of your emails you can add as well too. Okay. Let me show you that template really quickly. I just want to show you. And this one I do, like I said, I give this one away for free for you to be able to go through and use it. And obviously you will customize it and you'll remove the video from it because I put a video here so you'll know how to use it. But like, for example, so this one I use, this is a brochure one, right? So this is one, like, so follow along with me. What I do with this particular one and what I designed this one for is 3 pages. What I designed this one for is when someone comes in and they go to our website and they submit an inquiry. And let's say they choose HoneyBook, right? They're interested in HoneyBook. This is what's going to go out to them, right? So they're going to get this brochure. That's going to be basically an introduction of me. And of course, it has my writing in here, right? It has my writing and it has the services. Of course, some of this is a template. So I have instructions on here for you guys. But then it has our services. Now, our services, we have it selected as optional because we have add-on services. So they may not need the initial service, but they may need the add-on. So I don't want it to get stuck. So it gives them what it is, whole HoneyBook setups, and they can hit select. So it has VIP days, it has audits and stuff like that. And it also has the bundle where we do like website design and then we do HoneyBook setups, right? So let's say, for example, they're like, okay, I want to audit. And granted, I have not even talked to them yet, right? So they want to audit. So it's going to put that $297 inside of the cart. It has a whole written breakdown of what they get with that and the process for that, right? So they're going to continue through the brochure and they can say, okay, here's some add-on services. So these are a couple things that we can add on for you, like say a consultation, or if you want us to design a smart file for you, they can add that on as well. So let's say they're like, okay, boom, I want to add that too. Okay, so now you can see the cards at $496. Then they hit next, right? And it's not going to let me go so far because obviously this is inside the preview, right? So I also have some testimonials. So I just have a page that I have for testimonials. So if you want testimonials, like they're like, okay, I want to see other people that she did. So it's testimonials. Now they hit next. They can read over those. And then it has a project overview. So it's going over some information about this is how we actually go through and we kick off this project. These are some details that I want to know before we actually go through and start working together. I just want to know, what's your biggest roadblocks or anything like that. So it has these questions in here. And then here it has a calendar. So the calendar, of course, and outside of the preview will be lit, but they'll be able to go through, boom, mark off their day from here and hit submit. When they go through and they hit submit, this is also geared to automatically create them a proposal, a pending proposal on the back end of mine. So when I go through and I meet with them, I don't have to go through and create a proposal anymore. I already know what they want. So I'm just going through and getting additional information from them, but they already told me what they wanted. They wanted the audits and they wanted this additional service. The proposal was already done. So basically, we're just chatting about the details. We're chatting about the details during our discovery call. And after that discovery call, I can go into my account and boop, with one click, I can now send that proposal and that invoice because the proposal is already created for me based off of what they told me. Now, granted, I can always go through and edit it that maybe if they change their mind, maybe they want to change their service, we can still go through and set that up seamlessly as well. So that one is something that you can go through and you can edit yourself. That one is free. Like I said, it's in the description box below. So that's templates. Now we're running out of time. So let me go over. I'm gonna go over scheduling really quickly. And as you can see, these are so many different things that you can do inside of here, right? These are all the different categories. But let me just show you scheduling very quickly, and then we'll go to automations, which is my favorite part. And I'm gonna answer some of your questions that you may have. So scheduling, you can go inside of here, and this will allow you to be able to create different types of scheduling. You can have one or you can have many, but you can go through and create different type of schedules for people to go through and book meetings with you. And you can see all the types of availability based off the schedulers that you do have. So let's say if I go inside of this test one, you can go through, you can put the video type. So like I have Zoom. So my Zoom is connected to the HoneyBook scheduler. So once they book this meeting, they will also go through and they will get access to the Zoom link. So I'm not having to manually go through and send out that Zoom link. I don't have to do that anymore, right? And then I'm going to go through, I can put in the duration. I can put how far in advance pretty much that they can go through and schedule it. So you can do rolling windows indefinitely. I like to do rolling windows because I like to go through and have it where they can't book out but so far. So I like to do 2 months because I like to evaluate my schedule. So that's the way that I like to do it. But then you can also do this. Now, this is a relatively new feature, and this can become beneficial to you depending on how you use HoneyBook. And it can allow you to be able to go through and automate yourself even more. So this just became available probably within the last 2 to 3 months or so, but it's used meeting date as the project date. So they added in these different automations. So now if you were to toggle this on, you can now set an automation based off a project date. But because you set this particular scheduler to as a project date, now you can connect the two together. So when we look at automation, I can tell you how that could be beneficial to you, but you can turn it on, turn it off. But if you turn it on, it will allow you to be able to do even more automations. Again, they can go through and they can receive. So you can check these as well. If you want to have them receive email, SMS, as well as if you want to send yourself a reminder, you can definitely do that. I don't, because I know when the meeting is, so I don't need HoneyBook to tell me. I have it noted, but you can turn that on as well. This is where you would put in your availability. If you want to put any buffers or how far in advance they can go through and schedule the appointment. And you can also customize that confirmation and allow rescheduling, cancellations as well. Even inside of my other HoneyBook account, I don't see it here. So I'm not sure if that is a feature. Maybe it's not rolled out to all accounts, but you can even add in your team members to a particular meeting. So if you have a team member, there is also a toggle button. So there's another button underneath here that allows you to be able to toggle it on if you want to add a team member to that particular meeting as well. So there's a lot of possibilities that you can do inside of here. I know I'm talking fast, but if you have any questions, let me know if you have any questions. All right, so I'm going to go into really quickly automations because like I said, that's my favorite part. And this is where you can go through and end up really being able to go through and cancel this. Or are you going to make me save it? I don't know why it keeps going back and forth. It might make me log out and log back on. Save, finish. I don't want to save it, but okay. All right, so automations. So automations is going to be one of your best friends when it comes to using HoneyBook. So inside of HoneyBook, you can set up automations basically in 3 different ways. You can set up automation by using a lead form, which we talked about, a contact form. So you have activated by lead form, contact form, or by manually adding someone inside of HoneyBook. So let me go really quickly to projects really quickly because somebody asked here. Here's a test project. I think Davita asks about whether or not it has a client portal. It does. So this is pretty much like what the client portal will look like. Now, obviously, this is inside of my account. This is inside of my account, but they will be able to see pretty much, they won't see like your team members unless there's someone that's added up here. And they don't see this section here, details. I don't think they see that, but they do see the rest of these particular sections as well. So they'll be able to see all of the files. It's loading up for me. They'll be able to see the files that have been sent on this project under the file section, and they will. So let's say it's loading slow. Okay, so they'll be able to see any files that's here. They'll be able to see the activity. So they'll be able to go back and see any type of maybe files or emails that were sent out. And they can also start a message. So they can reply back to the old message, or they can click here and start a new message. This is where I was telling you before about let me go to, this is where they can put in, you can put in your email signature. They won't be able to do that, but you can see that there. And then where is it? Smart file. So if you want to reply back with a smart file, like a smart section, you can pull your templates from here too. So that's what I was saying before about actually numbering your templates is helpful to know what, where those templates are. And then also too, like if it's something that you send on a regular basis, it's really good to have those there, because now you can easily just pull that particular template and then boom, hit send. You can even schedule sending too, right? Now they won't see this inside the portal, and this is where you can get the portal link. So you can send that portal link to them from right there, but they won't see these stages, but you can change stages here or also automate your stages. You can see where that lead came from. So based off of the contact form that they submitted, you'll be able to see that there as well. And then any automation that they may be connected to, you can see that right inside of here as well. And you can make any type of adjustments, like you can view it, you can skip pages or skip blocks, or you can also edit it and remove the automation from them altogether. But let me go ahead and get inside of automations. Sometimes it runs a little bit slower when I'm streaming to multiple places. Okay. So automation. So I'm gonna go ahead. So I told you of how you can go through and you can add the automation. So it's 3 different ways: contact forms, and it is manually adding someone from it. So if you already have someone inside of your HoneyBook account and you want to add them to an automation, when you go to that automation section inside of their portal, inside of your portal for that particular project, for that client, that project, then you can do that from there. So new automation. So there's a few. So when you do automations, it's going to look something like this. Well, not something like this. This is what it's going to look like. So always name your automation. So always name your automation first to be sure that you don't get them confused with anything else. And then you'll be able to go through and add in your first action. So you want to think about with your first action is, what are they doing to be able to get to this automation? So if, let's say, for example, if they are going through and it's like, okay, they're interested in website design, they came from my website, they did my contact form, right? So that's the automation that I'm thinking about adding. Now you want to add your first action to what it is that they did, right? So that trigger was, they went on my website, they submitted an inquiry, they won a website design project, right? The action to that trigger is what, right? So that's what you're thinking about with that. So you can decide to go through and you can send an email, you can create a task for yourself, you can send a file with an email. So like maybe that's what I like to do is I send a file with an email a lot of times. That's the brochure. You can send out a smart file with an email. You can move pipe stages. Okay. So you can do something like that. Now, most of the time, I take that back. I normally send the smart file with email. This one, this brochures and questionnaires, is really used like if you're still using like legacy files, like you're still just using brochures and questionnaires, which you should use smart files. But if you're still using that, that's when you'll use that option, right? So let's say, for example, I'm going to do the part where it says send file via email. And then it's going to ask you, what file do you want to do? I'm just going to pull out a random one. I'm going to click on any one that I want. So let's say I do this. And then it's going to ask me, okay, so you already have the file. Then what email do you want to go with this? Now, again, this is when this becomes getting in handy, having these emails already set up, because if you don't already have these emails set up, then you're going to have to click here to actually create that email in order to be able to attach it to your particular automation. But if you already have it set up, as you can see, you see how they're in alphabetical order, but you can see how it can get confusing if you don't have them kind of grouped together. So I only did these 2 examples down here, but they're not grouped together. It's going to possibly cause you a little bit of confusion. It'll take you a little bit more time. So let's say I want to do this one because it's a 0-1 booking. Then you can decide, okay, when you want this to go out. If you want to go out automatically, then you could just keep it at 0 days and after the trigger has actually occurred. So automation is activated is typically what I like to do. You can also do things like require before sending. So let's say you do something for like a follow-up. Well, in order for you to know if you have to follow up, you may have to check something. So maybe you might do require before sending. Now, I'm not going to go all into automation, but I want to just show you some of the things that you can do with it. So the automation can be like, say, for example, this one says automation is activated, but you can also do it based off of project date. So that's where that comes in handy from your scheduler. You can now do it from project date, which means that if you just did a schedule, you can have that based off a project date that way. And then also too, when they set up, you can project date also goes for other things like the actual project date, but it can also be based off a schedule. End date, when someone moves stages, you can also set up automations based off a particular action. So imagine when a contract is signed, that you can have an automation to a contract is signed. Maybe you have an email that says, hey, thanks for signing that contract. Let's go ahead and get the ball rolling, blah, blah, blah. You can also do it based off of a questionnaire that's submitted, a brochure submitted, smart files submitted. Now, here's the beauty of this, because this is actually something relatively new as well, is because now you have it where smart file is completed. However, what they used to have it is, was used to have caused a little bit of problem, is because they used to have it where smart file is completed, but yet it didn't specify what smart file. So if you had multiple smart files inside of your automation, it would send out the email based off of any of the smart files. But now they have it, thank God. They have updated where you can specify what smart file you want to go in this particular section. So now how it has like all smart files, you don't want all smart files. When a particular smart file is sent out, I want you to do this particular trigger. So you can do a lot of different things. So smart files, you can do payments. So when somebody makes a payment, then they can get this particular automation. So send out this file. So send out this welcome email or this welcome packet, right? You want to welcome your clients. Send out this welcome client when that first payment is made, or when the invoice is paid in full. Maybe you're sending them out a gift or something like that. Maybe you want to send them out a gift card. But you can automatically have that sent out with whatever details when the invoice is paid. And even things like when the session schedules, when the session starts, the possibilities are endless here. You can even go through and move stages. So like when someone goes through and books with you, you can have them move stages automatically based off of what you set up in your automation, right? That's the beauty of being able to go through and use HoneyBook. All right, hold on, guys. I'm supposed to be getting some chairs that I ordered off of Facebook Marketplace. They're supposed to be here at 1:15. They're a couple minutes early. Hold on. Some really nice chairs I found off a really good deal. I'm going to get them in a second. Okay, so we're going to wrap this up in a few minutes, but I want to go through and answer any questions that you have. Okay. And again, this was just a speed through really quickly of being able to go through and use HoneyBook. I'm going to stop sharing this screen so I can go back to the other screen. But let me know what questions that you have, because I know some of you guys were like, you know what? I have not, I have not been using HoneyBook to its fullest degree. And I hope that with this, that you can see some of the possibilities with this. Now, I told you guys we would talk about the pricing that they have for this. Now, you have like your starter plan. Again, if you want to use it, you can get, if you've not used it before, because if you already have an account, you won't be able to do this, but you can get 50% off your first year of HoneyBook with my link that's in the description box below. But you have the starter. So you have your starter plan, which is 19. You have your essentials, which is 39, which is worth every penny. And then you have your premium plan. Most people that I come across, they don't need the premium plan. Most people just need the essentials. The difference between really those that starter and essentials, the main things that I really think that you're going to need is your automations that I just discussed with you. That's going to do a lot for you. And then also to the scheduler, right? And it's going to also give you access to 2 team members. But most people I find, they need automations. You need automations. Okay. It's not going to move the way it's going to move if you don't have automations. So automations and your scheduler, right? So those are the 2 things that you would be able to use and need with going through and using HoneyBook. So let me know inside of the chat if you have any questions. Let me know if you have any questions. And while you do that, if you are going through and you are typing, be sure to that if you found any value from this video, that you go ahead and like this video. And if you're watching on YouTube, please be sure to subscribe, because I'm going to be putting out more HoneyBook videos, of course, on the channel and answering your questions as well. But be sure that you do like the video and you do subscribe, because I do post videos every single week. So be sure to do that and share it with a friend, especially if you know that they have a business and they have been complaining about not being organized or doing everything manually. This is definitely something that they could benefit from, because it is a system and a feature that they can use in order to be able to really streamline things. Okay. So a couple things that we do offer, in case you're like, okay, this was a lot of different information. Of course, it's only but so much that I can actually go over, of course, in an hour's time frame. But a couple of services that we do offer regarding our HoneyBook is our HoneyBook VIP days. I actually just did one for a client yesterday and it went by perfectly. I love this when it goes through perfectly, where there are absolutely no hiccups. With our VIP days, this is where we basically take your task. So you already have a HoneyBook account and you really just need some help to kind of go through your HoneyBook and maybe create some smart files. Maybe there's documents, there's workflows, there's automations, there's things that you need help with, and you don't necessarily have the time to go through and create these. So you say, hey, Kaniqua, take 4 hours out of your day and go ahead and get this done for me. So I take a list of your tasks and I do as many of your tasks that I can do within 4 hours. And it was amazing that I was able to literally go through yesterday and do this for one of our clients, where I set up 3 of the smart file brochures. We set up 4 different automations. I set up like 3 to 4 different email templates, adjusted her contact form where it was connected to automation, and so much more. And I did that in 3 hours and 15 minutes. I had like 40 minutes left to spare. Contacted her and said, do you got anything else? Because I got 40 minutes left. So give me something else that you got. So the HoneyBook VIP is going to be for you. If that is something that you're like, I need help with, and I'd rather just stop twiddling my thumbs and going ahead and just get someone else to do it and not worry about it. I also, too, of course, after the VIP session, I do give you a detailed walkthrough of what I did do. And so you'll be able to go through and make any edits and changes that you may want to do yourself. I also do HoneyBook full setup. So with the HoneyBook full setup is for someone that needs a whole new HoneyBook account, or you just need a whole complete overhaul of your account because it just is not working for you. And you know that you actually need help with this. So this is where that we go through, set up everything inside of your HoneyBook account, from doing the branding inside of HoneyBook, your scheduling, your client flows, setting up your email templates, your custom proposals, intake form, contact forms, questionnaires, automations. We do all of that inside of your HoneyBook account, and we get that taken care of for you. That way you don't have to worry about that. Is another service that we do offer. And then for my DIYers that also need help with HoneyBook is our HoneyBook audit. So this is where I actually go inside of your HoneyBook account and I really go through because I see that some of you guys did say that you're not using HoneyBook to its fullest potential. And so I go inside your account to see if you are using HoneyBook to its fullest potential. And I go through and I make recommendations for you, some workflows that I suggest that you go through and create, some templates, some automations, and I give you basically a roadmap for you then to go through and do the implementation yourself. So I write everything out as what I see that, hey, you could benefit by doing X, Y, and Z. And you go through and you implement it yourself. Now, one great thing about with the HoneyBook audit is that when you start going through your audit report, and if you find that, hey, actually, I cannot do these things on my own, that Kaniqua said, then we do take off the price of your audit and we will put it towards your full setup. If you have that done within 2 weeks, we will go ahead and take the price and we'll deduct that from your full setup. Okay, so those are the 3 HoneyBook services that we do offer. They're on our website. Our website is kdjonescs.com. I put it inside the chat anywhere that you are watching this video. So you can definitely go through there and check out those services and put an inquiry if you need help. We also too will be creating a HoneyBook course as well. So I can go through and just teach you all of this stuff. So if you're a super DIYer, then that may also be for you as well. But definitely go through and hold on, let me answer this person. Okay. Yeah, so definitely if you know that you need assistance, get on the list and submit an inquiry and see what we can do. We can chat about it. And again, it's no obligation that if you chat that you have to do or anything. But if you want to know of whether or not I could help you, then submit your inquiry. All right. So again, those are the three services that we do have to offer. If you have any questions, let me know. We got maybe about 2 minutes. So if you have any questions, any HoneyBook related questions, just let me know and I'll be happy to answer those questions for you. If you have to go back and watch this replay, the replay of this it'll still live on YouTube, at least for a limited time. So you can always go back and watch this replay if you are not live with me right now, hashtag replay. Let me know that you actually went through and you joined, and put your questions in there because I will still be able to go through and answer those questions. And then what we'll do is we'll go ahead and I don't see any questions at this moment. Okay, so I don't see any questions. So I'm going to go ahead and end it out here. Again, if you do need to contact me, you know where to find me. And again, that information will be in the description box and the comments below wherever you're watching this video. And I will see you guys again not next week, because next week I won't be live next week. I'm gonna cut back on the lives just a little bit, just because I'm gonna show you guys, we're gonna be coming out with some different videos, and I'm gonna show you guys a couple of vlogs. I'm gonna be showing you guys behind the scenes of some things that I'm working on. So I will not be able to go live for a time. I won't be able to go live for a time, but other than that, I will see you guys soon because I'm still gonna be posting videos on Thursdays. So I will see you guys then. Again, I appreciate you guys taking the time to join me live if you were here live. And again, if you watched the replay, thanks for going back and watching the replay. And I hope you guys enjoy the rest of your week and get your system streamlined by using the information that I gave you today. Implement it and explore. All right, I will see you guys next time. Bye.